Tzu Chi volunteers provided recycling lessons for students at a school in California. We learn about the correct ways to recycle expired medicines. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Sri Lanka. Thank you for joining us. Underprivileged students at Juanita Blakely Jones Elementary School in San Bernardino, California, started to receive help from Tzu Chi's DaAi Mobile Pantry last year, so the principal became acquainted with Tzu Chi. He was also invited by Tzu Chi to attend a class on recycling. On this day, he invited Tzu Chi volunteers to bring his recycling lesson to his school because he hopes his school could become the first model school that practices recycling on campus.
On a large cardboard the volunteers are holding are pasted with all kinds of garbage.
To build a better world for our future, and environment is part of it.
Juanita Blakely Jones Elementary School in San Bernardino, California is one of the schools that receive assistance from DaAi Mobile Food Pantry. On this day, Tzu Chi volunteers are invited by the principal to give a talk on recycling.
This is going to be a great propulsion for our school to become the environmental science school that we wanted to become. And so we're going to try to continue the process, including recycling within our school.
Many underprivileged students live in shelters, so without learning and living education, they tend to litter the garbage everywhere, and the garbage can be seen everywhere on the campus. The principal hopes the students can learn why it is important to do recycling. The recycling class includes indoor lessons and outdoor hands-on experiences.
And what I liked was how you guys organized the slideshow, because it helped me comprehend more, and how she showed us what they do with the trash.
These activities are full of fun, so they increase the children's interests and become more aware of recycling. The school also decided to place recycling boxes at every classroom so the students can do recycling all the time, and furthermore influence their families to do it too.
In Taiwan, many seniors found their personal value again at Tzu Chi Recycling Station through educating the public and dedicating themselves to service. Tzu Chi volunteers in Colombo, Sri Lanka wanted to copy this Taiwan experience, so they cooperated with the local senior association to promote the idea. These seniors invited the children and residents in the community to do recycling.
This recycling promotion event is not just words, but Tzu Chi volunteers have made promise with community members to do recycling together regularly every month.
Foundation, Tzu Chi Foundation.
Just right near the venue, you can find recyclable bottles and trashes everywhere. Doing recycling is not common in Sri Lanka, but many local people bring recyclable materials from home to store together after hearing Tzu Chi volunteers sharing.
My mother said the money we made from Tzu Chi's recycling can help poor people, so I want to put my efforts in to do recycling. I collect recyclable materials from my neighbors and bring them to Tzu Chi.
9 members from a local senior association participate in the recycling day of Tzu Chi. They have found their personal value once again through dedicating efforts to recycling and learning the experiences from Taiwan's recycling stations.
Tzu Chi volunteer Hong Cailun in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, used to be a seamstress specializing in stage costumes. When her friend Chen Huimiao brought her a worn-out raincoat and suggested her to turn plastic into clothes, she amazingly turned into a gown and demonstrated ways to reuse resources. Okay.
The light blue gown is lovely and beautiful, but when you look closer and flip the inside out, you will find that the material is neither silk or cotton, but a disposable raincoat.
When the disposable raincoat is worn out, you can't wear it anymore. So I brought a few of them to her and asked her to make dresses out of them.
Other than a worn-out raincoat, Hong Cailun also looks for treasure at the recycling station.
The materials that are too hard will be difficult to pleat, otherwise pleating is very easy.
Any kinds of recyclable plastic bags are precious in her eyes, and she can sew them right away after some trimming. Sewing many times from different angles, and she has made another pink dress. All these plastic dresses are Hong Cailun's masterpieces. She was a stage costume seamstress, and now she has found another interest when her friend asked her to make recyclable costumes. However, it's not easy to turn ruined plastic bags into dresses.
I tried again and again, then I know in the end what some tips are. Now I know how to make this flower bigger and how to extend it.
She has also humbly took in everyone's suggestions in order to keep on improving her skills and using her hands to exhibit the lightness of plastic bags.
It's impressive. She's really good at it.
When I have an interest in something, I will put all my efforts into it.
Although these plastic bags are ruined and dirty, through her heart and her talent, they have extended their value and turned into stunning dresses.
The Education Bureau in Malaysia requires elementary school and junior high school teachers to complete certain hours of teachers' training course each year. Tzu Chi volunteers in Selangor and Kuala Lumpur have developed a good friendship with the local school in Serdam. The school therefore invited Tzu Chi Teachers Association members to give a lecture for 170 teachers. It was a chance to reaffirm their initial aspiration for education.
Natural smart, which is naturalistic, is the lowest among the students. Maksudnya apa cikgu? Naturalistic is a connection, relation with the
Understanding
nature.
the differences of learning abilities from multi-intelligence framework, Tzu Chi Teachers Association members from Selangor and Kuala Lumpur have been invited to give a lecture at the Seri Kembang Junior High School in Serdang to enhance the educational enthusiasm of the school's 170 teachers. Turning the feeling of work into tangible objects, the teachers re-explore the orientation and original aspiration of educators through paintings.
Teachers are like trees which can perform photosynthesis and produce nutrition for themselves.
We are actually erasers because we wipe off negative behaviors. We're trying to help students do this.
Tzu Chi has long cared for refugee children's education. Volunteers have invited UNHCR representatives to share humanitarian care and education.
Sepanjang perkongsian ini tadi memberi motivasilah kepada saya.
The sharing session gave me motivation. When facing the problems students have, I should not give up. We must face students' problems and use different ways to solve them. We must understand the students so that they can also understand the teacher's situation.
Pelbagai cara, okey, mesti faham pelajar dan bila kita faham pelajar dan pelajar mungkin insya-Allah akan faham kita.
While continuing to improve self-worth and get recharged, teachers expect that they will develop impacts of love in the front line of education.
More than 20 years ago, when the MRT Xindian Line and Banqiao Line utilized compressed air tunneling as a construction method, many workers became sick. Later, some 44 workers protested as they experienced decompression sickness or diver's disease. After continuous protests and media exposure, the workers received compensation award. However, some 8 people did not receive any compensation, and 20 years later, these workers continued to protest the Taipei MRT and local contractor. Globalization of capital means when these international companies make their money, they can simply run away from Taiwan. This means the workers have been sacrificed.
Zhu Jincheng is 64 years old and worked on the Xindian line at Section 221, where he contracted diver's disease. He hasn't received any compensation. Despite the pain, he is coming out to protest the Taipei MRT and the New Asia Construction and Development.
I drive a taxi and live alone and have few interaction with friends. Some are protesting, but I am not sure how many.
After 3 different medical reviews, Zhu Jincheng has been found to suffer from diver's disease. His shoulders to his knees are affected with bone necrosis, leading him to live in pain and suffering every day.
A few days after getting the diagnosis, I went to receive reimbursement the same as others. The first batch of workers who protested were compensated, but the second batch, who were added later, couldn't get this compensation.
Compensation wasn't given to those who later claimed illness as the claims were closed. Japanese subcontractor requested subsequent sick workers to produce a medical certificate before they're willing to pay compensation. This meant that Zhu Jincheng and a total of 8 workers silently withdrew claims.
The law does not specifically distinguish between the validity of Type A or Type B diagnostic certificates. We must emphasize that Type A and Type B, from the perspective of the law, is in fact the same.
In the engineering community, it is easy to shirk responsibility, even if it is a public project. As long as it's publicly outsourced to private companies, the work is divided into a large contractor, middle contractor, and small subcontractor. This means that it's hard for workers to seek justice. Therefore, this can absolve the Type A MRT of any responsibility in this case.
The original company and the subcontractor will take responsibility for injury and had to share joint liability. This is according to the Labor Safety and Health Law and Article 25 of the Occupational Safety and Health Act.
20 years ago, Article 16 of the Labor Safety and Occupational Health Law stated that when a company recruited subcontractors, it, along with the companies it recruits, is still held liable for injury compensation. In other words, even investors and subcontractors cannot shirk their responsibility.
This is related to New Asia construction and development, so I have no way of answering this question.
Workers collectively filed lawsuits, and through their lawyers, we look at information from 20 years ago. Among them is a batch of records that indicate such conditions.
In this compensation law, they say that if it is judged in the future declares this to be an occupational disease, then the contractor will have to pay $24,000 according to the original settlement condition.
Looking back outside the Taipower MRT station, this monument to laborers one by one is engraved with the pain of the worker's body and the injury to his heart. However, few people know that there is such a hidden monument in the MRT underground station.
没错，这是当初捷运局想要立的碑，我觉得这就是最好的历史对照版。
Written on the tablet says many workers contributed to this glorious project, but actually there's a dark history behind it. There are many more hidden stories which may one day be revealed to the public.
Since many people feel it is troublesome to bring expired medicines to the hospitals to be recycled, it is important to learn proper ways to recycle expired medicines at home. In our next report, we'll get some tips from pharmacists. In addition, some children throw up after taking cold medicine. What should the parents do? Let's take a look. Many people dispose of their expired medicines this way. Many people feel that it is troublesome to recycle medicines at a hospital. In fact, antibiotics, cancer medicines, immunosuppressive drugs, hormones, narcotics, controlled drugs, used needles, and infectious waste need to be processed by the hospital. Cold medicine or medicine to lower blood pressure can be recycled at home.
We can place the medicines in the zebra bags and then dispose of them in trash cans. In terms of liquid medicine, we can pour it into a zebra bag and then add some napkins. If you have coffee grounds at home, you can add the coffee grounds into the zebra bag for it to absorb the liquid medicine. Then we seal it and throw it into the regular trash cans.
As the parents worry about their children taking the wrong medicine, they also worry about how children throw up after taking cold medicines.
Basically, we follow the 30-minute rule. If the child throws up within 30 minutes after taking cold medicine, he can take another pack. However, if 30 minutes has passed, he might have absorbed the medicine. Therefore, we do not suggest he take more medicine.
In addition, many novice parents do not know how to feed their children medicine. The pharmacist has some tips.
Children often take medicine syrup. If the amount is less than 5 cc, you can feed him using the syringe. You feed him once or twice so he will not choke on it. If you feed him directly in the middle of his mouth, he might choke.
The pharmacist also reminds parents that children under the age of 18 should not take aspirin when they have fevers. They might develop Ray's syndrome, damaging their nerves. Therefore, when children fall ill, parents should not give them their own medicines. It is best for the children to seek medical attention at hospitals. In Pingdong's Gaoshu Township, there's a family of 4 whose house was reconstructed from a cowshed. Since the house was dilapidated and had no bathroom and kitchen, Tzu Chi volunteers decided to help them repair the house. To repay Tzu Chi's love, the son pledged to help other less fortunate people in the future.
Beams and columns of this dilapidated house are damaged. Few can imagine that a family lives in this small cowshed.
This was the place where livestock lived. Mr. Xu turned into the room by simply creating partitions. 2 adults and 2 children sleep in this dark and humid place.
Sympathizing with this family's condition, Tzu Chi decided to help repair their house with concrete and steel beams. Upon seeing their new home, the younger daughter felt very happy, and the eldest son pledged to give back to society in the future.
I have been living in the environment since I was young. I have also received help from many people. Therefore, it is inevitable to give back to society in the future.
On the day of the housewarming party, everyone works with one heart to make tangyuan.
Before this house was a pig pen and cowshed. Thanks to the brothers and sisters for helping me buy furniture and beds. I'm deeply touched.
Mrs. Shi, who was originally from Indonesia and married a Taiwanese man, repays Tzu Chi's love by doing recycling at the recycling station.
To live impoverished families out of poverty, Tzu Chi Philippines chapter provides the machine operation course. This special course gives students the chance to learn professional skills and become more competent at work. Let's meet some of the individuals who have received help from this course.
How to change the cycle of poverty in illegal buildings. The machine operation course organized by Tzu Chi Philippines chapter has changed the life of Paul John Santos.
In the past, I didn't know the meaning of life and why I live, but now I have found my life's direction. In addition, I've also learned to set goals and make my dreams come true step by step.
The Tolito brothers learned lathe techniques from the beginning.
If I finish this course, more job opportunities will be waiting for me, especially job vacancies abroad. I'll be more competent and skilled for a job, not only locally but also internationally.
It's just like how Tzu Chi recycles treasure. I feel like my soul, my heart, and my personality have been recycled. I have changed from being a useless person to a useful person.
The elder brother, who has gotten married and started a career, hopes to earn higher wages to support his family. The younger brother, who suffers from involuntary body movements, was the second fastest to finish the hands-on exam, reversing the fate of unemployment.
Ling Chenle is 86 years old and a Tzu Chi volunteer from Taichung's Wuri district. As a child, he received brief Japanese education and never had the chance to study Chinese. This was one of his personal regrets. After joining the army, he began to study by himself, and after joining Tzu Chi, he perfected his calligraphy as he loves to read Tzu Chi's writings monthly.
Opening this Japanese book, this older man immediately returns to the Japanese colonial era.
I studied for about 3 years, but that really isn't studying. When the air warning siren goes off, everyone goes running into the shelter.
Mr. Lin comes from a farming family. After just 3 years of Japanese education, he wasn't able to recognize any Chinese characters. When he was a soldier, he became a self-taught student and later joined Tzu Chi. He listened to people and diligently took notes, not only developing a rich vocabulary, but also wonderful calligraphy. He continues to study and loves to read, especially likes to read Tzu Chi's Rhythms Monthly.
I not only learned about farming technique, but also the culture and attitude of people around the world.
He is someone who seeks the truth. What he doesn't know, he likes to ask others. Aside from his own study, he is very curious.
Mr. Lin has donated hundreds of hectares for a recycling station and every day reports to the area, arriving by bicycle. Mr. Lin had suffered a car accident long ago, resulting in a neck injury. After leaving the hospital, he was worried about doing his part at this recycling center. Though he is 86 years old, he is full of enthusiasm and has more energy than many young people.
Every month, Tzu Chi volunteers visit care recipients to see how they do and also to build bonds with them. This time, Tzu Chi Malaysia chapter invited care recipients from different backgrounds to the Jingsi Hall so they could get to know Tzu Chi better.
To allow care recipients to know Tzu Chi better, Tzu Chi Malaysia chapter hosts a gathering for its care recipients from 3 major racial groups so they can come to the Jingsi Hall and interact with each other.
If your heart is rich, then the dime you donate is like $1 million. Even if we can't donate any money, we can still pray sincerely.
Tzu Chi volunteers sing with sign language movements and it touches the care recipients.
Very happy, spiritually I feel they help really from the heart. They don't see color or don't see religion, they really help from the heart. So that is the beauty and love.
Seeing the video showing various kinds of calamities around the world, many care recipients cherish what they have and want to go out and help those in need.
I'm very emotional because Master Zheng Yan has helped many people through various channels. If I was capable, I also wanted to help. I like to follow the Master to do good deeds. I want to help those who need help.
The care recipients receive a lot of blessings from this gathering and also feel grateful from the event.
A mentally challenged child in Taiwan learned to work with other people after learning to play instrument in a percussion group. His improvement also shows in workplace. We'll leave you with images of his performance at the end of our program. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.